Onto politics for you now. Today, the ANC's National Executive Committee is set to convene a special extended meeting. In fact, weekend papers have been reporting, as well as some of the daily newspapers, that high-profile members of the ANC may be potentially prohibited from being selected as candidates for parliament. That's after this year's elections. Before we cross to our reporter, Samkele Maseko, let's listen in to this clip of former President Kgalema Motlanthe, who's also, by the way, the chair of the ANC's Election Committee.
There were close to 1,000 nominees for both province-to-province lists as well as province-to-national lists and the national-to-national list. So the provinces, each province had to interview, though we established list committees in each province. And the list committees had to interview those nominated for the province-to-province and province-to-national lists, which accounted for 700 out of 1,000. And the National List Committee had to interview the remaining 300 who were nominated for the national-to-national list. Yeah.
When you look at the list,
so we are done with the interviews. We've had to reorder the lists in accordance with the rules and guidelines, and we would present that to the extended National Executive Committee, which takes the place of what in the past would have been the National List Conference here.
Are you happy with the list? As an ANC veteran,
yes.
When you look at those candidates, are you happy this time around that when the South African public see the list, people will say, these are men and women with credibility, with strength, with skills, who can lead the country should the ANC take power again?
Well, we have had to interview, remember, a pool. That's not the final list. That authority vests in the extended National Executive Committee. But I must say to you that in the course of interviewing these nominees, we came across young, well-qualified, bright sparks. I mean, you know, people who are able to articulate the procedures properly and who, given a chance, would really serve as true representatives of the public, because part of our interviewing process was to also establish that public representatives are not party representatives. They are, in one sense, party representatives, but in terms of their oath and affirmation, they are public representatives.
They will serve the public.
They will serve the public, irrespective
of those members of the public, their political inclination.
Yes, exactly.
Well, there you have it. Our international affairs editor, Sophie Mukwena, speaking exclusively there to former President Kgalema Motlanthe about this very issue that dominated at least the Sunday papers and much of the reportage this morning. Once again, Samkele Maseko is part of our team watching developments ahead of the special extended NEC meeting. Samkele, the paper spoke about almost 100 members being flagged by the Integrity Commission for their alleged involvement in state capture, as all of that was laid bare by the Zondo Commission. I mean, if this is a storm ahead, the clouds are certainly beginning to gather.
Indeed, and there were 97 ANC members whom were flagged by the party's Integrity Commission over their alleged involvement in state capture and corruption, particularly having to go through that interview process of the ANC's Integrity Commission. We do know that the likes of Deputy President Paul Mashatile had been flagged, the likes of National Chairperson Gwede Mantashe, the likes of Zizi Kodwa, the likes of Bongani Bongo, and the ANC has a standing rule that those whom have been charged cannot represent the party in areas of a public deployment going towards these elections, taking into cognizance the ANC's step-aside resolution that when you are charged, you've got to move away from your positions of responsibility. Hence, you've seen with individuals like Zandile Kumete in the eThekwini region of the ANC, and subsequently that affecting her roles in the chairpersonship of that particular role, and also those whom are in government or are in legislatures. That step-aside resolution did not take effect to them resigning in those particular positions, but this time around there is an issue that they cannot go back to Parliament when they are facing issues of fraud, corruption, money laundering, or any serious other crimes that they may be facing in South African courts at this point in time. But there is an officials meeting of the ANC currently taking place to fine-tune the list and to look at day-to-day runnings of the organization, and in about 20 to 30 minutes the Alliance Secretariat will take place that will deliberate on the names coming from COSATU, coming from the South African Communist Party, that will be infused into the ANC list, and they will also have their perspective and what they view must happen to the ANC list. I'm going to bring in Mr. Matala from the South African Communist Party just to essentially speak on their expectations as they head into the Alliance Secretariat. Mr. Masuku, just the essence of the Alliance Secretariat today as you prepare for this extended ANC NEC to look at fine-tuning the list that will be used by the governing party to effectively send those into provincial legislatures and also to the National Assembly.
Our expectations today in our discussion is to check, because there was an agreed procedure in terms of how people must be nominated into the list. So the first step will be to check whether there was compliance with that. And this procedure are also saying that there's a certain percentage that you need to deal with in relation to balancing the strength of your team. I think it's 20%. So it's to check as to whether when applying that it was actually done, it was done actually correctly. So we'll be consulted on that in relation to what is it that we can do with the 20. Are we happy that the outcome has covered the strength that we want to? And secondly, there are also issues.
Apologies, Samkele, there. We were speaking to you and sadly had to cut off due to some kind of technical glitch. You're still, I suppose, in some ways, unpacking the implications depending how this meeting goes.
Indeed, sorry, Ayanda, there we had that technical sound issue that we have now resolved. It is essentially the Alliance looking and fine-tuning the ANC list of those representatives who will go into provincial legislatures and ultimately the National Assembly. I'll bring in Mr. Matala Masuku from the South African Communist Party. Just in essence, Mr. Masuku, apologies there for that technical problem. Just the SACP stance on the ANC list going towards provincial legislatures and also the National Assembly. What kind of caliber of individuals would you like to see occupying positions of office?
As we have indicated in our 15th Congress, that after 30 years of our democracy, we need to accelerate the national democratic revolution. We need to accelerate saving of the people. We must accelerate transformation of our society, including our economy. So part of the processes that have been we have involved in, it was the manifesto, where we indicated what is it that must be done, and it is done. So now we're saying, who are these people that must carry out that noble task of making sure that the manifesto should be there. So in our case is that we are saying that we have put in a process that should give us that product. And this process is the one that is going to be deliberated this afternoon today in terms of the outcome of that. So currently, what we're going to be doing now, we're going to be meeting with in our secretariat look at the list. What is it that we're looking at? Is this the quality that we're looking for that came out of the branches? Number one. Two, have we followed all the procedures that we said we're going to follow? And three, are these people that are here that are coming out of the branches having those values and the integrity that we set ourselves we should achieve? So this is what we are looking at. So asking me, what is it that we're expecting? We want to see a list that is giving us capable leaders that are going to drive and accelerate the transformation of the society. And they must be highly impeccable, not tainted, and of high integrity.
Who are those people? When you look at, there is 97 people currently flagged, including officials of the ANC. The president was cleared, the national chairperson was cleared. You've got a dark cloud over the deputy president, Paul Mashatile. You've got a dark cloud over individuals such as Zizi Kotwa, Supra Moamapilo, Bongani Thomas Bongo, and many others who sit in the National Executive Committee of the ANC, whom allegedly were involved in state capture and the siphoning of funds from state coffers.
In the procedure, there have been three phases that have been put. Number one, if you are charged and you are expected to go to court to explain yourself, you know that you don't have to. You are not going to be in the list. Number two, those that have been cited in the commission, who are supposed to answer for themselves in the processes, and those that are also alleged in general, they had to go to the integrity committee to explain how do they understand themselves. And the integrity committee was supposed to be coming out to say, you're in your situation, don't even touch, don't even go there. And we understand you can still go on and be able to do something. So in our secretariat and in our engagement now this morning, that's where we're going to be briefed who of those that have been into the integrity and have been flagged and have been advised not to participate in this election, and who are those that have been cleared. And we're not expecting a difficult, because our collective decision that if we are flagged and we have been advised not to, and the NEC has now agreed and found out that these areas, these are the people that really should not be there, is no argument. You should not be there.
Your own General Secretary, President Kgalema, he's had to go to the Integrity Commission, particularly pertaining to allegations that he was receiving kickbacks for himself and for the South African Communist Party in the Department of Higher Education and Training. Has he been cleared? What's his status?
It's not him only, also our deputy chair, to last month. There was an issue. There was an issue about them. They reported, they did brief us as officials, and we engaged in that, and also the processes, they did go to the integrity. The report that we're going to have today it will also be related to that. We are also having our own ethics committee that is beyond even that one of the integrity. The ethics committee says goes deeper into also further investigation whether your conduct doesn't compromise you, even if it means your conduct doesn't compromise you by finding yourself in a place where you're not supposed to be. So it's part of the process that we're going to do. But with this one today, the integrity will tell us what was the outcome of it.
As the Communist Party, you're at the forefront of fighting state capture and corruption. Who are those individuals that you would not want to be in the ANC list as alliance partners that will be sent to the IEC as of Friday?
As we have indicated, once those comrades are charged, clearly they should not be there. Two, once those that are flagged in the integrity in the commission have presented themselves into the integrity, and the integrity says it doesn't make sense, we feel that they should not be there, we'll support it, that they should not be there.
Thank you very much, Mr. Matala Masuku. That is Mr. Matala Masuku from the South African Communist Party, essentially saying that they are going to the Alliance Secretariat to present and to hear from the Integrity Commission as well, and from the ANC's Secretariat, who are those whom have been flagged, whom are those that have been found to be wanting and can't be part of the ANC list to the provincial legislatures and ultimately to the National Assembly that cannot be on that particular list, citing that they are been involved in issues of allegations of fraud, corruption and any other serious crime. You've also heard the ANC saying that once you are going through the courts of law, you are automatically disqualified from being a public representative of the governing party going towards these elections. But there's a conundrum. Some are saying the ANC does not want to implement this report of the Integrity Commission because it will sharpen contradictions within the party. It will lead to a mass exodus by those whom have been flagged and essentially said that they cannot go and be public representatives of the ANC, and they will then ditch the party and jump ship and go to Umkhonto weSizwe, which will cause further electoral decline and mayhem within the governing party, Ayanda.
All right, Samkele Maseko, live to us there from Boksburg. Plenty at stake. We'll continue unpacking it for you, of course, throughout the course of the morning.